We're going to use SPSS to check for normality, skewness, kurtosis, etc., with the variable named depression. Let me pull that up. Please hold. You're going to go to Analyze. I always use descriptive statistics. I always use Explore. There are other ways. Frequencies is fine. Okay, but I like Explore. And our DV is depression. And the statistics that I want are, I'm not going to click outliers here. I'm going to show you a different way. Okay. Plots. We want unclick the stem and leaf. You can use that, but we don't use that here. Histogram is fine. Normality plots. That's good. And options, I kind of forget. We don't need any of those. And then we click OK. And let's look at the new data here. Here's our Explore. So this tells us we have 120. And we have a lot missing. Don't worry about the missing values here because the data sheet, the way it's set up, I have, about 15 different sets of data. So there's going to be a ton of missing on all of them. So don't worry about that here. But here's the mean of depression. What I'm going to look at is the skewness and the kurtosis. Let me switch over to a different page. Please hold. Much better. Okay, so quick reminder: if you have like between 5 and 10% of missing values, then you would need to do what we call a list-wise deletion in SPSS. But you have to do something. Normally, 5% is the cutoff. You could miss up to 5% of data and still run your analyses accordingly, but anything over 5%, then you need to do something. So again, here's our descriptives box. What I'm looking at is at the skewness here. If I take the skewness statistic divided by the standard error, I get 2, which is a little bit more than the critical value of 1.96. Remember that from the empirical rule? That's the cutoff for the right-hand side. So what this is telling me that is the data is skewed to the right. It's positively skewed. And then for the z-score for kurtosis, this one right here, I divide this by this, and again, it's greater than 2, which means that and because it's a negative number, that means it's less than the cutoff of negative 1.96. So that means it's also kurtotic. And I think it's platykurtotic, which means that it's flat. It's too flat. Or, on the other hand, it could have too many peaks on either end. So we're going to look for the outliers. Sometimes when you get rid of outliers, that can take care of the skewness problem. So I'm going to go to Analyze. Hold on. Let me go back to SPSS. So I'm going to go to Analyze. Descriptive statistics this time. This time I want descriptives. There's a very handy little thing here. Once I click in depression, see that? I can save it as a standardized value. In other words, it's going to take each depression score and turn it into a z-score. And anything over 2, I automatically know. So again, I'm just going to leave this stuff the way it is. Click OK. So now I'm going to get a new value on the data set. Let me pull up the data set. And I'm going to scroll over to my new one. Please hold. By going to Data View, and it should be the last one to the right. And man, that's a lot of data there. Glad I'm not taking this test. Okay, there's the new column, and it put them in order. So if they're not in order, you can right-click. You can sort ascending or descending. We want the largest at the top, so we would do the descending. And it does look like we have 2 outliers here. Okay, so there are 2 outliers. Let me double check, make sure there's no negative ones on the bottom here. Nope, none on the bottom. So they're just 2 outliers in this set of data. So I think that's just about it, right? Those are the same ones we got, right? And lastly, our Kolmogorov-Smirnov test. The Smirnov test for normality says that we violated the assumption of normality as well. And the histogram, yep, definitely not normal. Looks like it's skewed to the right, kurtotic. It's got too many high spots. There's its 3 quartiles, right? The first quartile is at 60. The median is at 82. The last one is 115. And a frequency table. If your data is not normal enough to use, which this seems to be the case with depression, what you could do is you could change depression as a continuous score into depression as a grouping score, right? Like low depression, medium depression, high depression. That's what this is good for. But that's it. Hope it helps. MGZ out.